millions of vulnerable Americans struggle to get reliable transportation to their medical appointments. That's why I started MedHall. Citi launched the Impact Fund to invest in both women and entrepreneurs of color like me so I can realize my vision and give everything I've got to my company and my community. I got you.
For the love of people, for the love of community, for the love of progress. Citi.
Welcome to the Paley Front Row presented by Citi. I'm DJ D Nice, and I'm delighted to be your host for this special conversation with the cast and team of Batwoman. Today, we are thrilled to welcome the members of the series' gifted cast. Joining us are Caroline Dries, executive producer, Javicia Leslie, who plays Ryan Wilder, Batwoman, Rachel Skarsten, who plays Alice, Meagan Tandy, who plays Sophie Moore, Nicole Kang, who plays Mary Hamilton, Camrus Johnson, who plays Luke Fox, Batwing, Nick Creegan, who plays Marcus Jet, and of course, Robin Givens, who plays Jada Jet. I want to welcome our special guests and welcome everyone that's watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Paley Center's YouTube channel at the link below. Let's start our program. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Be nice.
That's the energy I'm looking for.
Yes.
So happy to be here with you all. So I want to start. I have a couple of questions for everyone, and I want to start with Caroline, who happens to be the executive producer. So Caroline, what excites you about this season, and what are the advantages of being in your third season of a show?
I mean, just looking at the cast, we have some new characters this season. We have all of our old characters have really started to flourish, and working with these amazing, talented people that I'm staring at right now is what brings me to work every morning. So I just feel so lucky. What's great about a season 3 show is that the actors are so dialed in. They know the characters better than we, the writers, know the characters. So we get to now imagine when we're writing the scene, we can kind of picture exactly what they're going to, how they're going to bring their A game. And I just love seeing all the new dynamics flourishing on the show. This season, we're going to bring Alice and Mary closer together. We're filling out Ryan's family. She now has a mom and a brother. Sophie is going to be one of the points in a really sexy love triangle. So I don't know. It's just season 3. It's easier because the actors are all knowing who their characters are, and makes it much easier on the writing staff.
Javicia, of course, congratulations on season 2. Last season was your introduction to the show into the Batwoman mantle. Looking back, what was it like to bring Ryan's story to life? And what are you most looking forward to be doing in season 3 as you get to know your character better?
I think for season 2, it was really cool just being able to get to know Ryan while also kind of getting to know the Batwoman universe or the Batwoman world, Gotham, our version of Gotham. And then also just Ryan and I have a lot in common. So putting myself in Gotham, realistically, was something that I never imagined doing. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, just bringing stuff to life off of comic books and scripts and things like that. That was fun. But for this season, I'm super excited. One, because Robin Givens is playing my mom. Come on now. But also it's just Ryan, her character, the character of Ryan last season, she had a mom, but her mom died. So she didn't have any roots. She didn't have anything that grounded her in Gotham. And to know that she has a mom and a brother, and not only, I don't know how much I can say, and Rachel and I are the spoiler queens. Not only does she
first, so I don't feel bad later.
Not only does she have a family, but her mom is established. She's she's well off. She's connected. She's of some type of status. So that kind of puts Ryan in this world where she's no longer I always call Ryan my little street rat, because Aladdin, he was a street rat. She's no longer like that. She has this connection that, gives her status and wealth, even though she isn't going to really want to dive into that. So that part's fun.
That's awesome. Since you're talking about having a mom on the show now. I want to send this question to Robin. Hello, Robin.
Hello.
So I want to know what made you step into the superhero world, and how does this role differ from some of your other roles in the past?
Yeah, it's so funny. I was like literally sitting with my son when I got this phone call, and I told Caroline the story. I've shared it with Javicia, and my son, you're in the Bluetooth, you're in the car. There's a Bluetooth going on. He's listening, and he was like, "Whoa, are you kidding me? Jada Jet!" Like he thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So that for me was really exciting to do something where my son's like, not like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. He thinks this whole world. I mean, how cool is it? Jada Jet. I mean, she's Batwoman's mom, and what I loved about this character when Caroline and I were talking about it is you kind of see her one way, and she is strong and powerful and runs a company, and you get the sense she could run the world if she needed to. But she's also a mom. She's just a mom, first and foremost. And you see her kind of, rekindling this relationship and very protective of Ryan, her daughter, and trying to come back together with her. So I love, I've played sort of high-powered women before, but I, Robin, am first and foremost, these guys all know, being a mom is so important to me, and nothing has made me happier. So getting to paint her with that brush and the complexities of all that just excites me.
Hi, man, Camrus, good to see you again. I want to share a funny story. The last time we saw each other, we were like sitting on a plane next to one another, but we were all masked up. I didn't have my hat on, and you had a hat on, but we kept looking at each other like, wait, I think I know him. Then finally we realized who we were. It's good to see you, man.
You too, man. Yeah, I was running like this whole mask situation with like one of the see-through situations too. And when D sat next to me, I was like, oh, look at that. Two black dudes sitting next to each other in first class. How nice is this? And then when I took it down to start eating, he just went, good to see you, man. And he showed himself. I think I screamed a little bit. It was really awesome to see it.
So your character became Batwing at the end of last season. How does it feel to be portraying the character? And what are you hoping to see as he comes into his own this season?
Well, as everyone knows here, Batwing is a dream come true for me. I've been ready to play him since day one. And now that I am, it's just everything that I wanted and more. So there's a lot of really cool fight scenes, and my stunt double was doing a lot of that. And at first was like hard for me because it was kind of like the Mandalorian effect, where sometimes it's me, sometimes it's him, and we're constantly switching out. But once me and him figured out exactly what we want Batwing to look like, to feel like, to walk like, then we started getting on the exact same page, and we know exactly what we want him to be now, which is so exciting. So I think that you'll see Batwing progress as we progress within the suit. And it's just, me and my son are also getting used to what a super suit feels like, which is awesome, because the super suit is getting used to how we move, and it's sort of stretching to our bodies. But yeah, man, what I can't wait to see more of is Luke get more comfortable in it, because, like every superhero, he's got to learn how to earn it. And just like Batwoman did as well, Javicia last season, Luke has to figure out what being a superhero really means. And I don't want to give anything away, but it takes quite a bit of time for him to figure out how to do that.
I must admit, though, I really do love your suit.
Thanks, Doc.
It's great, man.
Me too.
One of the things, this is a question that's important to me, that I feel that people should know. And what I love most about this show is that you guys have made history multiple times over with diversity and inclusion of topics, including race, sexuality, class, and more. So how does it feel to be part of a show that is at the forefront of positive representation? And this is for everyone.
Yeah. Thumbs up. I think it's really cool. Obviously, it's an honor for all of us to be a part of this storytelling. And I think that, a lot of times we don't recognize things when we're in it. And it will probably be years later that our show will be talked about because of the fact that it was the first of a lot of things. And it's just really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah.
How cool is it that Batwoman is a Black woman? I mean, I'm sorry. It's just like, you're doing it every day, Javicia. We're all in this world, but, It's so darn cool. It's awesome. It's awesome to be a part of that. It's like that simple, you know.
Obviously, like, our show's been through the ringer, but one of the best things that came of it was the fact that we get to have a Black Batwoman, and that Javicia has been portraying her so effortlessly.
Thank you, Meagan.
I was super before I even auditioned for the project, I used to turn on my HBO Max and I'd see Javicia's face as Batwoman. And I'm like, damn, that is so dope. And then full circle moment, I'm playing her brother. It's just, it's insane to be able to know that you're a part of a project where young boys and girls of different creeds will be able to look at this and say, if I want to be an actor, I can play any role I want to. There's no character that's going to be seen as one type of person, or I could just be anything I want in life, period. So it's really dope to be a part of this.
It's really cool to see so many different races, so many different characters playing so many different types of people in one world, so that something that we have growing up, when people watch the show, they can see themselves in so many different worlds, which is really cool. Something that just happened, and Javicia was actually there when it happened. 2 older Black men recognized me. And I almost only get recognized in public by older Black men, like a very specific thing. And that reminded me of this last Christmas, where I got my whole family painted as Black superheroes for Christmas present. And when I like slyly figured out all of their favorite superheroes, it was just like in random conversation. Like they didn't know what it was, why I was asking. But my dad told me his was Superman. And I was like, but do you have like a favorite like Black? But he was like, I didn't have any Black superheroes growing up. Like Superman was my hero. Like I didn't, all these other ones that I'm seeing now like are new for y'all. So what's really cool is I feel like we're always really excited about how the new generation, the next generation will grow up seeing us, but we also forget that the older generation is also seeing this and being like, wow, like we didn't have this when we were kids and now we do. And it's just as exciting for our parents and grandparents as it is for it's just as exciting for them to see as it will be for kids to grow up and grow into. I just think that's really cool.
So this season, we're going to see Batwoman and Alice team up to take down Batman Rogue's villains, Javicia and Rachel. What is that dynamic like for your characters? And what is it like for the two of you to be working so much closer together this season?
It's torture. It's absolute torture. Rachel tortures me.
I do. I feel like I've said this a bunch of times, but it's my favorite thing to make Cam and Javicia, but specifically Javicia. Cam's harder to laugh. And I feel like if I can get them to break, although now I feel Javicia, like the other day I did something, I wasn't even trying to be funny. And she was like, we're doing the scene and it was with another character. And so I'm standing behind and she's standing here. And so I couldn't turn because there's like nothing behind me to turn. And I did something and then you like turned around like this. I was like, dude, I wasn't even trying.
Rachel's okay. So to answer your question, Dee, first of all, she's funny as hell. Like Rachel and Meagan, I don't know if people know it because they come across very like just well put together and poised, but they're like the funniest human beings you could ever work with. like we did a scene last season in the jail and me and Camrus were dying because Meagan kept falling asleep.
I'm about to do it in this interview. You're gonna just pan over my
Megan's asleep right now.
Literally.
So it's like, it's always just such a pleasure to work with everyone because we all have like our own personal dynamics, but like our characters have these dynamics. And some of this, I mean, it's comic book world. So some of it is just hilarious. Like, what are we talking about right now? But specifically working with Rachel, like it's so much fun, but also, and I told her this the other day, like from an actor's perspective, it like makes me raise my like game in every kind of way because she's so freaking good. And so it's like, we'll do a scene and I'm like, damn, she brought her A game and we're just in rehearsal. Like, let me make sure like I'm dialed in and like I know everything.
One time, we were and we were rehearsing and we were doing it. And then Holly comes in and she's like, but you're gonna be better, right?
I love how she always nicely insults us. So yeah, it's just so much fun working with her. It's such a great challenge for me as an actor, honestly. Just because I'm enthralled. Like I was watching some stuff for this season and I'm literally looking at her performance like, man, we are so lucky and blessed to have her. You know what I mean? So as an actor, it's amazing. As a friend, it's hilarious. And then as like a character, she drives me freaking crazy. Like her and Ryan cannot stand each other. And we knew that was going to be so hard for us. We talked about it in the beginning of the season. We were like, okay, they're going to pair us a lot. Our characters hate each other, but her and I like adore each other. So we're constantly laughing and it's just really hard, but we make it through. It's fun.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Perfect.
It's so crazy to see how different Rachel is in like real life. So like to see her Instagram, she's happy, she's fun, and I try to wonder like how is this fun person so evil?
Tanner.
I get that a lot actually. Directors will come in and they'll be like, maybe 3-4 days into filming, they'll say, "Yeah, I thought you were going to be a handful, but you're really nice." And I'm like, okay. But I think I just get all my crazy out at work. That's what my husband says. He's like, they can be so sane in real life because you're just crazy at work.
That makes a lot of sense. Hey, Meagan, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm happy to be here with you guys. So last season, we saw Sophie grapple with her place in the Crows, and ultimately she decided to leave the Crows and go out on her own. What was that emotional journey like for Sophie, and where do you see her journey taking us this season?
Yeah, I think anything surrounding the Crows for Sophie, the poor girl, it was just another blow, just another shock because, after Point Rock, she went directly into being a Crow because Jacob Kane was like, hey, come on and, be my second in command. And so that was her everything. So, to be, faced with the challenge of not being the establishment that she, signed up for, that was devastating. And I think also too, just like with everything that's been going on with Sophie, it's like, she came out to her mom in season 1, season 2, she was looking for Kate and Kate didn't want her anymore. And then now the Crows are a racist establishment, like the poor girl, she needs a volume. But I think it was a lot of fun to be able to do that and to go through that. It was very challenging, but the fact that Ryan is the one that actually is what helped her to understand that this is like not what she's all about was actually really awesome.
Wow, that's great. So you feel like the characters, Ryan and Sophie, are much closer this season coming up?
Yes, I think they are definitely much, much closer. There's like a beloved triangle and there's about 2 pieces of that triangle. And I think it's Sophie and Ryan.
Wow, I can't wait to see.
And Alice, I've been trying to pitch this for a while and it's not working, but yeah, it would work so good.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Nicole.
Hi, D.
What's up, Nicole?
Look at your shirt.
I know, right? Listen.
You're on brand today.
No, this is like real talk. I was trying to find the Batwoman shirt that I have, and then I realized that my daughter sleeps in it. So I was like, just grab it.
There you go, Javicia. There you go.
So Nick, your character Mary has really been through it with her mom being killed in season 1, and now her dad is in prison. What is her emotional state like going into this season? And does she begin to rely on the Bat team more for emotional support?
Just hearing that sentence is traumatizing. Yeah, it's interesting. I was listening to Javicia say about the things that are really grounding her to Gotham. And I feel like her and Mary are like ships passing in the night. Like, I feel like Mary's getting the opposite, like all those things that used to ground her to Gotham. Her mom was an affluent member of society, all those things, all those ties, and now Hamilton Dynamics is gone. I think she's kind of like floating and trying to figure out who she is and what does ground her. And, the Bat team has stood for many things for her, but, and she's like a good heart. But I think the interesting drama for Mary this season is that the only sort of blood relative she has left, well, by proxy, I mean, it's on a technicality, we share blood, but it's Rachel. And that, again, like stirs things up for her, really confuses her, and really throws a really fun dynamic whereby I have gotten Mary and Alice have get all like entangled and things like that. So I think that complicates things for the Bat team. I think we saw it a little bit in season 2. Her and Ryan come up against each other when Ryan's ready to kill Alice, and it was the beginning of the Bat team really establishing what their ground rules are, like what's going to be, what do we live by, what's our code, and that really comes with being like connected to purpose and being like who my family is, my allegiance, and all of those kinds of fun things. So I think Mary is being pulled in a bunch of directions this year.
Nick, my buddy Nick, you're new to the show. We won't even see your character until episode 3. What can you tell us about your character?
What I can tell you is that this is the most dynamic character I've ever played. I feel like this is one of the most fun and challenging roles. Every day I go to work, it's like looking forward to going to the gym when you know that you're going to really have to go hard, and it's going to be like a pain with gain kind of thing, because I feel like Marcus is very multi-layered. It's a lot of fun to kind of dive into his storyline and pick apart pieces of how I would love for the fans that watch this to be able to see him. A lot of fans are going to be able to see Ryan and Marcus potentially team up. I think a lot of people are going to be rooting for that. But they'll also see that there are going to be a lot of surprises throughout the season. And I wish I could dive into a lot more of what fans have to look forward to, but I could tell them that they are going to be in complete shock and they're going to really love this season for sure. Because I definitely do.
I want to know more about Alice, and she's trying to find her goodness this season, and now that she's working with the Bat team, is she going to discover that she enjoys helping others or killing them?
Yeah, I don't think Alice starts the season finding her goodness. I think she always has an agenda. And this season, the show thematically is exploring mental illness and just that umbrella concept. And Alice is mentally ill, and we find her at Arkham and an asylum for the criminally insane. And she is going to go through this really compelling and challenging journey where she's somebody who's aware that she is quote unquote crazy, but it takes a new spin this season for her, and it starts to rattle her, I guess you could say, Rachel. And she, continues to be selfish and focused on her own needs and her own agenda, but through working with the Bat team and through a partnership with Mary that evolves over the course of the season, we start to see these layers of Alice that we haven't seen even in season 1 when she's at her sort of most vulnerable in those most vulnerable moments. We can do that because Rachel's this. We're talking about this amazing dynamic actor, so there's just always like another well that we can dig with this character. And so this season, it's really, I find, a fascinating storyline.
Yeah, I think for me, it's an easily relatable thing for anyone. Obviously, Alice is to the extreme, but anytime you have a hurt or a trauma, sometimes you have negative coping mechanisms for that. And for a while, that negative coping mechanism serves you. And I think in the first and second season, we saw Alice feeling she was in control. Like she knew she was quote unquote crazy or mentally ill, but she felt she was very much in control of that and it served her. And I think this season, like all negative coping mechanisms, you get to a point where it starts to control you and it's no longer serving to you. And I think Alice is realizing that this year.
Robin and Nick, as the newest members, we have to ask, if you could play any superhero in the DC universe, who would it be and why?
You go ahead, Nick. I don't know.
If I could play any superhero in the DC universe, I like this question of how it was phrased actually, because it makes it way easier. I guess I would play Batman. I would love to play Batman. I feel like, Bruce Wayne to me is like, in a lot of ways, Bruce Wayne is like the American version of James Bond in a lot of ways. Super mysterious, rich dude. You don't really know what he does, but he's very smooth with his approach on a lot of things. And I really love the way Christian Bale played Batman. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what Robert Pattinson does with it. And
Yes.
I would have loved to play the first person of color Batman role. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so hard for me because, Javicia and I spent a lot of time together. She knows how I think. I'm so excited. And Caroline knows this probably well. I'm so happy exploring Jada Jet. It's so hard for me to think outside of that. And being Batwoman's mom, but I think probably I heard quite a bit people say Catwoman, Eartha Kitt was a dear, dear friend of mine. So that would probably, if that, kind of in that world, I don't know which superhero, but
I can see
now.
That would be iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That actually would be awesome to see.
Give it to her.
It would be such homage to
Eartha.
Oh yeah, that would be so full circle.
Javicia, what did you think when you found out that Robin was playing your mom?
So first of all, she's Robin Givens. Like, you're like special when your name has to be said together. Like, you don't just say Robin, you say Robin Givens.
Yeah.
First of all, I think she's too young to play my mom, but we're gonna ignore that.
You got an eating buddy too. You got an eating.
I do.
Right?
Well, as a person, like, I didn't know we would connect so much. Like, literally, Robin and I have this like this goal that we're trying to do is basically like eat our way through Vancouver. So every time we're both in town, like, we meet up at a new restaurant and try it. So that's epic. But also, like, I grew up, obviously, like most of us, watching her work. And anyone that knows me knows that I am a huge Boomerang fan. Never told Robin this because I didn't want to weird her out. I've learned you can't tell actors like their work that they love because we don't know what the experience was for them. And I never want to bring up something that they're like, I hated that. But Boomerang was such a huge part of my life. So to be able to, I have this thing of like, I used to love figuring out how people connect. And so to know that in any kind of way, I slightly connect to Boomerang because of Robin is really freaking cool.
Remember our first scene? Like, we had a huge first scene together and we went and ate first, which was, I'm so happy we had our meal first, but we had that big scene together, which was really cool because you kind of see them kind of not butting heads. I don't know how you would describe it, but the dynamic of it. And even when she was talking like with Rachel, she laughs at me. We were doing this scene and I was going upstairs. We were cracking up. She was making fun of me. And I love that she makes fun of me because I'm probably one of the goofiest people you'll ever meet. And she was making fun of me. And then in the scene, Meagan was throwing things at me in another scene. So we're all just cracking up. And it's a good time. It's like, I believe that there's something, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it's an interesting business when you hear about the magic of the business. What makes something successful? What makes somebody, an audience watching it, attracted to it? And I kind of think it's all the nuances of what we have, or thus far for me, I've experienced here. It's such a lovely set. Like, you're happy to come to work and see everyone and play and laugh. And to me, that's part of the magic. I can text Caroline and go, what's going on here? Everybody's just in communion. And, I haven't worked with Rachel. I have, there's so many people I haven't worked with, but it just feels so good. And I think an audience will feel that. Is
the Batcave as cool in person as it looks on TV? And how does it feel to be brought into the fold of the Bat team?
Yes.
Rach, come on now.
Yeah. I remember in the first season walking into the Batcave and just thinking, this is so crazy. Like, it was really one of those moments where I think everyone felt the same way when they walked into the Batcave for the first time. It really is an incredible set. Although I will say there are some computers in there that are from the 50s and I don't know why they're there. Not every time I'm in there, I'm what is
the keyboard?
But it is kind of an homage to Adam West Batman. So I appreciate it. But yeah, it's really quite amazing.
Any one of you hoping to drive the Batmobile anytime soon?
I want to drive.
No, it's so hard to get out of that thing.
Yeah,
No.
it's really low.
No one wants to drive it.
I could barely get
Drove
out of
it.
You did?
I finally drove it for the first time. Rachel and I, they need to separate us. But Rachel and I drove it in the sixth episode, and I pull up, and luckily I know where the brake is because there was a guy in front of it. You remember he was like always so worried that I was gonna roll him over?
No, I know. He was like,
God.
because the Batmobile, like it sits so low on the ground, so he would have been decapitated for sure.
I told him it would be a quick death. He didn't have to worry about that. But yeah,
Not
anyways,
really though, because we were kind of going slow.
I wouldn't have gone slow over his head. I would have stopped. I would have kept going.
They did not,
You're just like, I gotta finish the job.
they did not let me drive it. They made me just do this really fast. So it looked like I was going. That's all I got.
But wait, I think I interrupted you, Nick. What were you gonna say?
No, I said they did not let me drive
Nicole.
it.
Not Nicole. Nick.
Oh, that Nick.
But I love you, Nicole.
You guys,
I called Nicole Nick. That's why she thought.
No, I was just saying, I hope I get to drive it. I would love to just hijack it for a joyride one day. That'd be cool.
Nah, that would be fun. I do have a question for Caroline. I heard that you were writing D Nice into one of the episodes this season. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said yeah.
You're the mechanic that works on the Batmobile, and
You get to drive it.
hijack it.
Ah, that would be awesome. Speaking of that, as you all know, I'm a DJ, so I have to ask if your character was at Club Quarantine, what song would they request?
Well, as a New Yorker, and the fact that DJ D Nice and myself are New Yorkers, we met in New York. I feel like one of the most legendary, iconic New York songs that I would want to be played at Club Quarantine would be All About the Benjamins.
Hey.
Iconic New York songs of my generation, so yeah.
I think if Sophie walked into Club Quarantine, because I'm really obsessed with Drake's latest album, and I think she would want the DJ to play Girls Want Girls, since she's just in the episode 1, she's like making out with this random girl. So I feel like that song probably like, that's exactly what she'd want.
Robin, what would Jada request?
You know, I'm so bad with it. I gotta go like a little old school a little bit. If Jada could get Beyonce in Club Quarantine with a little Jay-Z like under there doing some kind of From the Wit, Can You Feel a Brand New Day? I think I would love that. You know, that's what Jada would love.
Rachel, what would Alice request?
You know what's so funny is I read this question and I was like, this is easy. I already got my request, which was Tilla Quelly, which you played for me on the premiere. And I think that was one of the coolest moments ever. I was so excited. I have the whole thing videotaped. But then I just realized right now that it's what my character, but I guess maybe I could go with Get By because, you know, that's basically what Alice is doing.
I immediately realized that it was for the character after I said that, but I thought about
I know.
Monster Mash.
Marcus would still listen to All About the Benjamins.
For sure.
Yeah, you are.
For sure.
Definitely.
The moment Nick and I realized we are our characters.
Javicia, what would Ryan listen to? Club Quarantine.
So when I saw that question, I feel like Ryan would listen to I'm Every Woman, but also it's my favorite song. But I think it's Ryan's favorite song too. Like the different transitions of what Ryan has gone through, we've watched in just like a season and a half of her just go from really like a kid to a grown woman. And so yeah, it'd be I'm Every Woman.
Yeah, so wait, Javicia, so I thought it was Robin and not Jada. So you give me a Jada song, or Nick, what would Jada listen to? Because I was thinking it was Robin too, not the character. So
I think my mom, Jada, would listen to I Will Survive.
Ooh, that's a good one.
oh, I like that one.
Good
like
one.
that.
Thank you all for having me here. Thank you for joining me. This was awesome. It was so good to see you guys here. I want to thank you all for joining us for this special Paley Front Row presented by Citi conversation with the wonderful cast of Batwoman. You can enjoy more of these conversations by clicking the subscribe button below. Thanks and take care.